Shalom, family. First, I want to give all praises to the Most High God through His Son Christ, right, for giving us this lovely Sabbath night to go over His scriptures. And tonight's topic is going to be World War III is on the way and the chariots. Right, World War III is on the way and the chariots. Right, I know everybody been watching the news lately, been keeping up with the times, but you see all hell is breaking loose, right? And you see that World War III is on the way. World War III is in the scriptures, and we're gonna find that out tonight if you did not know. But let's start with Psalms chapter 68, verse 11.
All right. This is the book of Psalms chapter 68, verse 11, and it reads, "The Lord gave the word. Great was the company of those that published it."
Right. So the Lord gave the word, and it said, "Great was the company that published it." A lot of people have a question as far as who wrote the Bible, right? They say the Bible's a white man's book, right? But when you find out in the scripture, when you open the book, it says the Lord gave the word. So the Lord gave the word, and He gave. Let's see. Read that again.
The Lord. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 68, verse 11.
Yep.
The Lord gave the word. Great was the company of those that published it.
Right. It said, "Great was the company of those that published it." That was our forefathers. That was Moses. That was Job. That was Joel, Amos. Right. The Lord spoke through those prophets and gave them the words to write down in the scriptures. All right, let's go to Isaiah chapter 46 and verse 9. Right, so the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the chosen people of the Most High God, right? And we know that through scriptures, through the prophecies, through historical events, and we prove all things with the Bible.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 46, verse 9. "Remember the former things of old, for I am God, and there is none else. I am God, and there is none like me."
Right, so there's none like Him, right? He's the only God. All the rest of the gods are false idols, man. You got your New Year's gods, your Christmas gods. All those come from Greek and Egyptian customs, and they would used to worship sun gods and different things like that. All right, read verse 10.
"Declaring the end from the beginning, and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, My counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure."
Right? So the Lord, His counsel is going to stand, and He's going to do all His pleasure. So everything that He wrote, He declared the end from the beginning. So in the beginning, He declared the end. He already knew what was going to happen, right? So this is where you get all the prophecies from in the Bible. You got World War I in the Bible, World War II, right? Those things have happened. And you got World War III in the Bible. All right, that's what we're going to get on tonight. Give me Luke chapter 8 and verse 7. All right, so the Most High declared the end from the beginning, man. You can't make this up.
You said Luke 8 and 7?
Luke chapter 8 and verse 7.
You got that, Eric?
Yeah, I got it. This is Luke chapter 8 and verse 7. "And some fell among thorns, and the thorns sprang up with it and choked it." I'm sorry. Let's see. Luke chapter 8 and verse 7. Give me verse 17. Okay. Luke chapter 8 and verse 17. "For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad." Right, so everything is going to be brought out in these last days. You see everything coming to pass. You see they're talking about the UFOs. You see they're talking about World War III. All these things that we've been talking about all these years in the Bible, you're starting to see them come to pass, right? You got pestilence, right? You got coronavirus, all different types of diseases that's going around on this earth, right? And it got everybody freaked out. But all these things that's going on right now, they've been in the scriptures because the Lord said He declared the end from the beginning, right? So everything that happened from the beginning, in the middle, and the end, he had already declared that. He already knows what's going to happen. That's why we have to trust in the Lord with all our heart, right? Because he'll be the one to save us at the end of the day. Let's get Matthew chapter 24 and verse 6. All right? Matthew chapter 24 and verse 6. All right.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet.
Right, so it says, and all these things must come to pass, right? Because the Lord declared the beginning, the end from the beginning. So everything that he said was going to happen, it's going to happen. Whether you feel like it won't, or you have another religion, or you feel a different way, it don't matter. It's going to happen. So said the Lord, right? Because our feelings, at the end of the day, our feelings don't matter when it comes to this book, right? You can look at it with your feelings if you want to, but in actuality, when all these things come to pass, you're going to find out that this Bible was a true book. Read.
For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, and pestilence, and earthquakes in diverse places.
Right, you see, it shall be pestilence, right? Famines. There's going to be food shortages, right? You haven't seen that yet. America hasn't seen that yet, man. Right? People are not going to know how to act when they get these food shortages. Over here in America, they eat 3 times a day, right? 4 times a day, snacks included, you know? And when these famines hit, you got to understand, like, these people, they got to eat now, right? Because their body is trained to eat 3 times a day, 4 times a day, and all the snacks that they want. So they're going to feel like they got to have it. When they run out of food, they're going to come and get yours. Let's see. Read verse 8.
Verse 8. And all these are the beginning of sorrows.
Right, so it's the beginning of sorrow. What you're seeing right now, this is just the beginning, man. You ain't seen nothing yet, and we're going to find that out in the scriptures. Let's get 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 14. Right, we're going to get right to it. Right, so we're going over World War 3, and we're going over the chariots tonight. We're bringing out the truth of the Bible, right, because they're not going to bring this truth out in the Christian church. They're not going to teach you that World War 3 is coming and that America is going to be destroyed. They're not going to teach you that, right? They trust in oppression, right? They the same people who agree with the people who say in God we trust, right? But as you can see, they say in God we trust, but they disobey all the doggone commandments. So let's get that in 14. 14 and what? 15 and 14. Okay. It is 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Right? So it says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Right? The word woe means destruction. Read. Verse 15. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and the sword in their hands. Right, so one people gonna stand up against another, right? That's going into the race wars that's gonna happen. That's going into the nation, the Democrats versus Republicans, right? Different states, if you will, you know. It's gonna be different people, different groups rising up with swords in their hand, ready to fight. Right, you see that now at the Capitol. They just rushed the Capitol because they tired of their government, and they want to take control over that. Right, read verse 16. For there shall be sedition among men, and invade one another. Right, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Okay, so right now I'm gonna Google the word sedition. All right, we're going to see what the word sedition means. Okay. What is an example of sedition? Okay. Can everybody see my screen? Can you put that on there, Ananias?
Gotcha.
All right. So the word sedition often includes, this is the one I want. Including commotion. Okay, sedition. A serious felony punishable by fines and up to 20 years in prison. It refers to an act of inciting revolt or violence against a lawful authority with the goal of destroying or overthrowing it. Right? So you see that right now going on in the Capitol. Right? They want to overthrow the government and create their own. Right? I'm gonna play a little video right quick. All right, so this is a man named Mo Brooks. He is a senator. He's a United States senator, representative. I'm sorry, but he was speaking before Trump spoke at the rally right before the riot, right? And after this video, you can go back and watch those videos. You can see him and Trump speaking. But we're gonna play Mo Brooks.
Today is the day American patriots start taking down names and kicking ass.
Can y'all hear that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Today is the day American patriots start taking down names and kicking ass. Now, our ancestors sacrificed their blood, their sweat, their tears, their fortunes, and sometimes their lives to give us, their descendants, an America that is the greatest nation in world history. So I have a question for you. Are you willing to do the same? My answer is yes. Louder. Are you willing to do what it takes to fight for America? Louder. Will you fight for America?
So that's all I really wanted to get on that. As you can see, he's basically enticing the people to riot, right? There are claims where he came out and said he wasn't really trying to entice a riot, but you see his words. He said in the beginning, right? Talking about their ancestors, their so-called, their ancestors who shed blood and tears, right? But the blood and tears they shed was the blood of our people, right? So you know for a fact that's what he's talking about. That's where they get "Make America Great Again," right? So my question is, all right. So it says in verse 16, "For there shall be sedition among men." Right, sedition. Right, that's enticing others to revolt against the government, to revolt against the higher power. So, and they're scared of this too, because why do you think they closed Trump's social media accounts? Because they know that this could be a very it can go left at any moment. Right, all Trump got to do is get on social media and say for his people to attack, because he already told them to. What do you tell him? What do you tell him, Ananias? Sit back and what?
Stand down.
Yes, stand back and stand by. Yeah, that's what he said. Right, so they standing by right now. So they getting ready for war. You know. All right, where we at? Give me verse 17.
Okay, verse 17. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able.
So this talking about going into the last days on earth. Right, this right before those bombs drop. Right, so it says a man shall be able to go in. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Right, you're not going to be able to leave Birmingham. You're not going to be able to leave Alabama. You're not going to be able to leave the country and go to Africa. Right, you're not going to be able to leave and go to Europe. Those things are not going to happen. That trip to Bermuda, you might as well forget about it. Right, because it says a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Read verse 18.
Verse 18. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled. The house shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid.
Read. Verse 19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread, and for great tribulation. Right? So a man is not going to have pity upon his neighbor. Right? I told you earlier, during the famine, right? You're going to have people hungry, man. Like, people going to be coming in your house. They're going to be trying to break in your house. That's why you got to be protected by the Most High God, right? Because he controlled the hearts, right? The minds of all men, of all the kings, of all the princes, of all men. So that's why you had to be protected by the Lord in that day, right? And it says, keep reading. Verse 20. Behold, said God, I will call together all the kings of the earth to reverence me, which are from the rising of the sun, from the south, from the east, and bank turn themselves one against another, and repay the things that they have done to them. Verse right, that them is talking about. Let's go to 15 verse 1. Read that real quick. 15 and 1. 15 and 1. Yeah. Yo, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord. Right. So it's talking about his people, right? The so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? The chosen people of God. The Puerto Ricans. It's talking about the Dominicans. It's talking about you Negroes, right? Those are not your God-given names, but the Lord. That's who the Lord is talking to, right? And he's talking about how he's going to gather the kings of the earth and repay, you know. And it's going to clear that up in verse 21. Read that. Verse 21. Like as they do yet this day unto my chosen, so will I do also, and recompense in their bosom. Thus saith the Lord God. Read. Verse 22. My right hand shall not spare the sinner, and my sword shall not cease over them that shed innocent blood upon the earth. Verse 23. The fire is going forth from his wrath, and have consumed the foundation of the earth, and sinners like the straw that is kindled. Verse 24. Woe to them that sin and keep not my commandments, saith the Lord. Right, so it says, woe to them that sin and keep not my commandments, right? Because if you don't keep the commandments, you're going to be destroyed in that last day with all these so-called red people, right? With all these so-called Asian people, with all the so-called Arabs. You're going to be destroyed in that day because the Lord is coming back for revenge, right? And 2/3 of his people are going to be cut off. Let's get what sin is. Give me 1 John chapter 3 and verse 4, right? Because we have to understand what sin is. A lot of people don't know what sin is, right? They have their own opinion about what it is. They'll just say it's doing something bad or just doing anything contrary to what society says is right, you know.
All right.
But read that.
This is the book of 1 John chapter 3 verse 4. Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law, for sin is the transgression of the law.
Right, so that's what sin is transgression of the law, right? Where do you find the law? In Deuteronomy, Numbers, Exodus, right? You find the law in those books, in the first 5 books, right? But the Christian church, they don't read the Old Testament. They read the New Testament, right? They might read 1 or 2 out the Old, but they don't read the laws of God, and they don't teach that in their churches. That's why you got all hell breaking loose right now, because they're not teaching the word of God. Let's go back to 2nd Ezra 15, and then read verse 25. All right. 2nd Ezra 15 and verse 25. I will not spare them. Go your way, ye children, from the power. Defile not my sanctuary. Right. So the Lord said, go your own way if you don't want to keep my commandments. Right. If you don't want to keep my commandments, you can do your own thing. Read. Verse 26. For the Lord knoweth all them that sin against him, and therefore delivered he them unto death and destruction. Right. So the Lord going to be the one to deliver you to death and destruction if you're not keeping his commandments. Right. 27. For now are the plagues come upon the whole earth, and ye shall remain in them, but God will not deliver you, because ye have sinned against him.
Right, so, all right, we good on that. Let's get, right, so the Lord is not going to deliver you in that day if you keep sinning, if you not repenting and keeping the commandments. You have to keep the commandments of God, and we know that those are the laws of God. And I told you where you can find those at in the first 5 books of the Bible, right? And all throughout the scriptures is other different commandments too. Let's get, right, so, and in order to stop sinning, right, you gotta get your mind right first, right? Everything starts with the mind, right? So you have to, when those wicked thoughts come up in your head, you have to tell them no, right? When those evil thoughts come up, because the hearts, where's that, bro? In Job,
What you talking about?
Out of the heart proceed wicked thoughts. Or is that Proverbs? That's Proverbs.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, like I said, you gotta get those evil thoughts out of your mind, right? You gotta tell those thoughts no. Right? When you want to go eat, I went to damn Papa Do's about 2 weeks ago, right? And they don't have, I forgot, they don't have nothing but shrimp, crab, lobster, and all that on the menu. And I said to myself, damn, po' boy sandwich don't sound too bad right now. That's an evil thought, man, to the Lord. Right? You got to tell those thoughts no. You know?
All right.
You know what I'm saying? So let's give me Psalm chapter 91. All right, we had to get our thoughts right. We got to stop hating our brothers in our heart. Right? We gotta stop doing all those different type of things. Because hatred for your brother is murder. Let me see. And Willie Lynch taught you that.
That's right.
Let me get this. Click on your screen again, bro.
All right.
Let me see if I can find it. Blow it up. I'm gonna just read a little bit off of here. Can you see that, bro?
Yeah. They're trying to advertise, ain't
they? Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. All right. They need to advertise the word of God.
No, they ain't gonna do that.
All right. So, can you read that for me where it says, I have a foolproof method?
Highlight it for me.
All right. It's the first bold letters.
All right.
Read. Yeah, just start reading from there.
All right. I have a foolproof method for controlling your black slaves. I guarantee every one of you that if installed correctly, it will control the slaves for at least 300 years. My method is simple. Any member of your family or your overseer can use it. I have outlined a number of differences among the slaves, and I take these differences and make them bigger. I use fear, distrust, and envy for control purposes. These methods have worked on my modest plantation in the West Indies, and it will work throughout the South. Take this simple little list of differences and think about them. On top of my list is age, but it's there only because it starts with an A. The second is color or shade.
Right. So I'm going to explain a few as you're going. So it says color and shade, right? So the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we are the people that went into slavery, into captivity, right? We all are different shades of brown. Some of us are very light, some of us are very dark, right? So they decided in order to cause confusion, right, they would turn the dark skin versus light skin, right? Why you think today you have I always talk about dark skin versus light skin guys or dark skin versus light skin girls, right? It's the same thing that used to happen back in the day, right? Because we hate each other now. Keep reading.
Let's see.
I'll go ahead and get it. It says there is intelligence, right? So intelligence, when it goes into a lot of people brag about what college they go to. I went to Harvard and you went to or HBCU, right? But they got you hating on each other like that, right? And the next one, it says size, sex, right? They turn the sexes against each other. Now the woman is over the man in our communities, right? And it shouldn't be like that. But the women are leading and the men are under them, right? That's why everybody feared Big Mama, right? But everybody didn't fear Granddad like that. They feared Big Mama because they knew Big Mama didn't play, you know, because they made Big Mama the head of the household. And the next one says size of plantation. This goes into your jobs that you work in, right? A lot of people brag about or they complain about their job status, right? The size of the plantation. They would argue over like, oh, my master's plantation is bigger than yours. Or mine's a little small plantation and we just right. We eat good over here. We cook good. I ain't have to worry about all the masters over my head. You know, these are the same things we're arguing about over today, right? And then the next one is status on plantations. So the people, the so-called, the supervisors, right? Your team leaders, right? Your CEO, well, not CEOs, because we ain't CEOs, but all your leaders at the job, right? They might look down on you because it's the same thing they put in our minds back in the day. And when you read earlier up here, it says it will control the slaves for at least 300 years, right? This letter was written in 1712. 2012 will make that 300 years. But he said it possibly could last for thousands of years. And some people actually say this letter is fake, right? But when you look at this letter and read the different things in this letter, you can see that everything that's written right here, we can look out into the world and see that that's not the case, right? This is a real letter, all right? It says status on plantation, attitude of owners, right? Attitude of owners. We arguing about how good our boss is. My boss is a little bit better than yours. I don't deal with that at work. You know, I don't have to deal with that on my job. You better than me. You know that. You know how black people talk, right? We still arguing about the same things today, whether the slaves live in the valley or on the hill, right? They separated us, and we brag about like whether we live on the valley or on the hill, in the rich part of town or the poor part of town, right? And we're still doing that today. It says the east, west, north, or south. And your rap music, you hear them all the time talking about the east, west, north, and the south, right? It's the same thing from back then to today, right? Our brothers out here will kill you over their side of town. That's named after a so-called white man over Jefferson Street, right? They'll kill you over Thomas and Edison Street. They'll kill you over Crenshaw. Crenshaw was named after a so-called white man, and everybody got Crenshaw written on their shirt. I know it's to respect the brother who passed away, but you know, not knowing they write Crenshaw on the front of their shirt, you know, and that's the name of so-called white man. All right. Okay, and then it says east, west, north, south have fine hair or coarse hair. Right, so the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the chosen people. Some of us have coarse hair. Some of us have fine hair, but we hate on each other's hair. Right, the so-called black women, they would hate on the so-called Native Americans' hair. Right, their hair is a little bit more stringier or a finer texture. Right, it's a little bit more a fine of texture. But the Most High is the first author of beauty, and the Most High had woolly hair. Right, so why are we hating on other people? Right.
I got a precept go with it.
Okay, get it.
This is just out of Deuteronomy 28 chapter, where it's dealing with the curses.
Right.
And let me get that. This is Deuteronomy 28 and 54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil toward his brother, and toward the wife of his bosom, and towards the remnant of his children, which he shall lead. All right, that stems from what you would just break it down. Every level of division caused that to happen right there.
All praises. See that, like the brother brought out, that's the curses, right? And those things can't manifest because the Most High declared the end from the beginning. And let's get all right, let's get that Psalm 91.
Which verse?
Verse 1.
All right. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 91, verse 1. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty.
Right. Read.
I will say of the Lord, he is my refuge and my fortress, my God. In him will I trust.
Read.
Surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence.
Right. So put me back on the screen again.
All right.
All right. So we're gonna Google these words right here. Okay. It says that he shall deliver me from the snare of the fowler. Let's see what a fowler is. Fowler definition. A fowler, a person who hunts wildfowl, right? So it's a person who hunts wildfowl, okay? And it says, the other word is snare, right? He said he would, let's see, surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler, right? Let's see what the snare definition. Right, and it says a trap for catching birds or animals. Typically, one having a noose or wire of cord. Now, I want you to remember that, right? It says a trap for catching birds or animals. The key word I want to put out is a trap, and then it says they use like a noose or a wire cord, right? So let me get Genesis chapter 25 and verse 27.
25 and 7. All right. Genesis chapter 25 and verse 27. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, man of the field. And Esau go ahead.
No, my bad. I thought it was gone. Go ahead.
Okay. And Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in tents.
Right. So the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter. We know Esau is the progenitor of the so-called white man, right? We just read the two definitions of the word snare and the word fowler. But in verse 27 in Genesis 25 and 27, it says that Esau is a cunning hunter, right? I got the word cunning pulled up right now, and it says having or showing skill in achieving one's end by deceit or invasion. Right, so that's the same thing as the snare of the fowler, right? They set up traps for you, right? And it says right below it, it says skill in achieving one's end by deceit, right? So that's who the Lord is talking about. He's gonna save you from in that day. Let's go back to Psalm chapter 91. All right, so he says, surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. Right, that noisome pestilence, that's the so-called, the nuclear missiles that's going to hit America.
Verse 4, he shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shall thou trust. His trust shall be thy shield and buckler.
Read.
Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day.
Right, so the arrow that flieth by day, those are the nuclear missiles that's going to come for America, right? You're going to hear that in the scriptures a little bit more tonight, but those are the nuclear missiles. When it says, sometimes when it says arrows, that's what it's talking about. Because when you look at a missile, they look just like an arrow, But you didn't have the word missile or nuclear missile or ballistic missile back in those days, right? All they knew them as was arrows. Read.
Nor the pestilence that walketh in the darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday.
Right, so that pestilence that walk in darkness, right? Pestilence, we know those are diseases, the diseases, right? When you have all the lights out, you can't see nobody walking in front of you. That's what it's talking about. It's talking about those diseases. You can't see COVID-19, right? I don't see nobody that can see COVID-19 and dodge out, lean back and dodge and do like a little swivel move to dodge coronavirus. You can't do that. You're not going to be able to dodge it. The only way you can dodge it is by keeping the commandments. And it says, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. Right? Let's get Isaiah chapter 54 and verse 16. We're going to find out what this waster is at noonday.
This is Isaiah.
And then give me Isaiah 34 and 1. Read.
Isaiah chapter 54 and verse 18. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy.
Right, so he created wait, let me get it real quick. Verse 16 says, behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals. Right, so the Lord created the smith. The Lord created all men. Right, he created the white man, the Asian man. He created the so-called black man. He created his chosen. Right, but he said, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire and bringeth forth that instrument. Right, the instrument is talking about those missiles for his work. I have created the waster to destroy it. Right, so that was one of the names for the nuclear missiles back in those times. Right, they didn't have those words, like I said. Read verse 17.
Verse 17. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in the judgment thou shalt condemn. It is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is of me.
Right, so if you believe in the Most High God and his Son Christ, right, and you keep his commandments, right, the faith without works is dead. If you keep those commandments and have faith, no weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper. Right, I know you heard that in the Christian church before. They say it all the time, but they're not keeping the commandments. All they have is faith, right? So, like I said, faith without works is dead, right? So in order to be saved in that day, you have to be keeping the commandments. And, you know, you hear us preach that week in and week out. All right, get that in 34, bro.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 34, verse 1. Come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world, and all things that come forth it. For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He have utterly destroyed them. He have delivered them to the slaughter. Their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood. And all the host of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and as their host shall fall down, as the leaf falleth off from the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. For my sword shall be...
All right, put me back on.
All right.
Put me back on the screen, bro.
Gotcha.
All right, so read verse 4 again.
And all the host of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their hosts shall fall down, as the leaf falleth off from the vine, and as falling as a falling fig from the fig tree.
So this is what it's talking about right here, as you can see on my screen. The heavens being rolled as a scroll, right? They didn't know. They didn't know that we call this a mushroom cloud. They call it. It says rolled together like a scroll, right? They described it the best way they could. But let's see. Let's get verse 5.
For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment. The sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of rams. For the Lord hath a sacrifice in Bozrah, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. And the unicorn shall come.
All right, so
okay.
I got you. I appreciate it. So Idumea. So the word Idumea, that's the Edomites. That's what it's talking about. That's a Greek word, right? As you can see right here on my screen, it's it's not a good explanation. Judea, Idumea, planted by the descendants of the Edomites, right? Say Idumea was populated descendants of Edomites, right? Those are the Edomites. Those are so-called white man today. That's what it's talking about. His missiles gonna come down on Idumea. Right. Let's get Revelation 6 and verse 13. So now we're learning tonight that World War III is actually in the Bible, and you have to keep the commandments so you can be saved in that day. Because in that day, your AR ain't gonna save you. Your shotgun is not gonna save you. Right? That's not gonna save you from those nuclear missiles. That's why you have to believe on the Lord. Right? The brass knuckles you got not gonna save you. The new gloves you got with the plastic in the front, it's not gonna save you. Right? All your food that you got stacked up in your closet, it's not gonna save you. Right? You got to depend on the Lord. Get that?
Revelation 6, verse 13. And the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as the fig tree casteth her untimely figs when she is shaken of mighty wind.
Right. So it says the stars of heaven. Another thing, when you see it in the Bible, like I said, it don't have the word missile in there, and it says the stars of heaven fell into the earth. That's going to those missiles, right? Because like a star, it shines, right? Those missiles gonna shine too. They got that fire coming out the back. Read
verse 14. Verse 14. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it was rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their place.
See, that clears it up right there. That's talking about the nuclear missiles, right? It says, and the heavens departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their place, right? So that's letting you know right there, that's a nuclear missile. Because what other weapon can move mountains out of their place and destroy cities? Read.
Verse 15. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains.
Right, so it's going to the so-called white man, and all the people on the earth. They're gonna be hiding from the Lord, right? They're gonna be hiding from these nuclear missiles. They're gonna be hiding in those bunkers that they have, right, in the mountains under their house, right? They're gonna be hiding in those in that day.
Right? They even got a.
What's up, brother?
No, I was just saying they even got a TV show called Doomsday Preppers, where they be building bunkers all around the United States. The rich folks trying to build these different type of bunkers for that day.
What is it called?
Doomsday Preppers.
You gotta be on your screen.
Yeah.
See if I can find a little video.
In Central Oregon, Kurt and his family believe they have everything a prepper family could need, except a fail-safe way to bug out. Started looking for a vehicle that'd be able to get me through any kind of broken down traffic, bad situation, possible people trying to, overtake your car, take your gas, whatever. And
No, I'm a little late, but how y'all brothers doing, man?
All praise.
Executing his plan, Kurt purchased an all-terrain sports utility vehicle. But even with a 350 horsepower engine, the ability to off-road, and enough room to seat his entire family, Kurt thinks it's not exactly perfect for doomsday just yet. So Kurt's invited his small network of like-minded preppers to make sure that it will be. I'm turning my SUV into an armored vehicle because I want one more level of security in the event that I have to leave this property. Okay, so, let's get going. Let's start tearing it apart for starters. Let's do this. After an economic collapse, to fall into disrepair and become hazardous. Next, Kurt wants to add armor plates and weld them seamlessly to the body of the SUV.
All right, so we kind of get an example of that, right? They making armored cars and buying up guns. Man, that nuclear missile gonna blow the doors off that van. Yeah, right. Hey, man, you can have all the doggone armored cars you want, man. You're not gonna be armored against the Most High God.
That's right.
Unless you keep His commandments and put on that armor of light. All right, let's get what was we?
16, Revelation.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Verse 16. And said to the mountain and rock, fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb.
Wow.
Right. So they telling the rocks to fall on us, right? They hiding from the Lord. They hiding from the Most High God. And that Lamb that is talking about is Christ. Because Christ is going to be going around killing. He's going to be going around slaughtering, right? Because he coming back with anger. Because they're just like in Revelation. Let's get Revelation 1. I ain't had this in my notes. Give me verse 7.
All right. Revelation 1 and verse 7. Behold, he cometh with cloud, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him.
That's all I want, right? So they also which pierced him. So the same people who pierced Christ in the side, right, are going to be the same people he's going to be coming back to fight. Those are your Romans, right? So-called white men, right? And 2/3 of his people that had him killed, that wanted to see him die, right? And those same spirits are repopulated back on the earth today. Let's get 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 2. So we're going over so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You have to repent and keep the commandments, right? You're going to have a lot of your friends telling you that, why you believe in that Bible? That ain't happened yet. It ain't going to happen to America, good old sweet America, right? They got the top military in the world, right? They got the top economics. Ain't nothing happen over here. Get that verse 2.
This is the book of 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 2. That ye may be mindful of the words which were spoken before by the holy prophets, and of the commandment of us, the apostles of the Lord and our Savior.
Right, so we have to be mindful of the scriptures. We have to be mindful that the words that they wrote to us. We have to be mindful about keeping the commandments.
Read.
Knowing this first, that there shall come in the last days scoffers, walking after their own lusts, and saying,
Right. So hold up, and it says, knowing this first, there shall come in the last days scoffers. Right. So scoffers, walking after their own lusts. Read.
and saying, where is the promise of his coming? For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of the creation.
Right. So a lot of people saying, hey, ain't nothing happened yet. Ain't nothing bad happened yet. Like, man, well, all this stuff y'all talking about, it ain't happened. Right. Y'all been saying it's gonna be wars and rumors of war. That's been going on. Right? That's been going on. Like, why we ain't saying nothing yet? Right? You gonna have those type of people who come in that day. You gonna have people trying to stray you away from keeping the commandments. They trying to stray you away from your salvation. Right? Don't let them do that. That's why I say you got to get your mind right. It starts in the mind. Read.
For this they willingly are ignorant of, that by the word of God the heavens were of old, and the earth standing out of the water and in the water.
Right? So they are ignorant of these things. Right? Like it says that the word of God, the heavens were of old, and the earth standing out of the water and in the water. Right? They ignorant of the Most High God. Read verse 6.
Whereby the world that then was, being overflowed with water, perished.
Right? So they ignorant to well, they actually know about Noah and the flood. Everybody knows about that, right? But they don't believe that. They don't believe the Most High God will come down here and destroy the whole earth. Last time he only needed 8 people to repopulate the earth. What make you think he need those people disrespecting him and not obeying his commandments? Right? They getting destroyed. Right? He only need a few. It says many are called, but few are chosen. Read.
But the heavens and the earth, which are now, by the same word, are kept in store, reserved unto fire against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men.
So they're going to be preserved for the fire, right? That's what they're created. They're not created to keep the commandments. They're created to be scoffers. They're created to just go to the club every weekend, right? They're created for that reason. But we're created, people on this call right now, you're called, right? You're called to keep the commandments. You're called to obey the law, statutes, and commandments. That's what we have to do. That's why you on this call tonight. Read.
But, beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is one day.
Right, so that's what they're ignorant of. They're ignorant that the day, what it says, that one day is as 1,000 years to the Lord. That's why we're living in the last days, right? It might not feel like it to us, but according to the Most High, we're living in the last days. Read.
The Lord is not slack concerning his promise, as some men count slackness, but is long-suffering to us word, not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance.
So that's what the Lord wants. He wants you to come to repentance, but we don't want that. We don't want to keep the laws of God. We don't want to start keeping the laws. You know, we want to do everything that the world wants us to do. We want to celebrate all their holidays that we learned in slavery. We want to do that instead of obeying the laws of God and keeping his commandments, not the commandments of the world, but his commandments. Read.
But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat, and the earth also, and the works that are therein shall be burnt up.
And that's going to be the judgment right there, right? That's going to be the judgment. It says the day of the Lord is going to come like a thief in the night. You don't know when a thief is coming. A thief is not going to send you a letter 2 days prior to him coming, telling you that he's going to come and break in your house. Right? He's not going to send you a text message, pull up a front and say, I'm outside, man. I'm about to come in. You know, he's not going to do that. He coming in there, whether you know it or not. He coming in there, and you're not going to know nothing about it. You're going to be sleeping in your bed. That's how the thief going to come. That's how the Lord going to come back and destroy the earth. Well, and destroy America
And don't nobody know. That's why it says no man knoweth the time but the Father. And it says it's going to pass away with a great noise. That great noise is that boom from those nuclear missiles, right? You're going to hear booms going off, right? And it says, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. That clears it up right there, right? What else can melt elements like buildings? What else can melt your top golfs? What else can melt your bowling alleys? All that stuff gonna be gone. It's gonna be done away with. Like the Christian church say, the laws are done away with. America are gonna be done away with. Right? Read.
Verse 11. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness?
So when you come into these scriptures and you learn these scriptures about how the world gonna end, about how everything's gonna be, what manner of person ought you to be? You should be trying to strive to keep the commandments. You should be trying to strive to talk with brothers every day about the Bible. You shouldn't be having perverse words coming out of your mouth, right? You shouldn't be having you shouldn't be talking about things of folly and madness, right? And confusion. You should be dwelling on the Most High's word, right? Read.
Verse 12. Looking for and hasting unto the coming of the day of God, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat.
Right, so the elements gonna melt with fervent heat. Right, the Lord is coming back to destroy America. Right, and that's gonna happen. Thus saith the Lord. Give me Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 9. So nuclear missiles are coming for America. America is doomed. Right, for the blood of our forefathers, for all the rape, rob, and murder, for all the they're guilty for all the charges of the laws. Right. For making us eat pork, for making us disrespect the Sabbath day, for not allowing us to know who we are, for calling us Americans, African Americans, taking the land from the so-called Native Americans and call themselves Americans. They call them Native Americans, but they call themselves Americans. Why are they not called European Americans?
All right.
Get that. But now we're about to get into how would the Lord save us, right? How will he save us? All this is in the scriptures. Let's get it.
This is Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 9.
Mm-hmm.
He created her and saw her and numbered her and poured her out upon all his works.
You got Ecclesiastes? Not Sirach. Ecclesiastes.
Okay. You want to say?
All right. Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 9. I can get that real quick.
All right.
Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 9. The thing that hath been is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. Right? So there's no new thing under the sun. So the same things that happened back in the ancient days are the things that happen now. That's why the Lord said he's going to see the same people who pierced him in the side, because those same spirits are here today. Right? And that's why we like you see familiar spirits. You be like, well man, that person seemed like I know him. Right? You probably seen that spirit before. Your spirit recognizes that spirit. Right? Just like just like the Lord saved us in Egypt, right? It's going to be the same way he saved us in America, because this is, whether you know it or not, this is the spiritual Egypt, right? This is the spiritual Egypt. You can look at the dollar bill. They tell you that on the dollar bill, they have a pyramid on it, right? When you go to Washington, D.C., they have the obelisk, I think it's called, the obelisk, right?
What they call it, the Washington Monument?
Is that it?
I think so.
I think okay, yeah, we can go with that. But he will do the same thing. So he gonna do the same thing that he did in Egypt, 10 times worse. Right? It's gonna be done worse tenfold. Let's get Exodus chapter 5 and verse 6 so I can give an example. All right, so we got to start off from the beginning of how we got saved out of Egypt. Exodus chapter 5 and verse 6.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 5, verse 6. And Pharaoh commanded the same day the taskmasters of the people and their officers, saying, Ye shall no more give the people straw to make brick as heretofore. Let them go and gather straw themselves. And the tale of the bricks which they did make heretofore, ye shall lay upon them. Ye shall not diminish aught thereof, for they be idle. Therefore they cry, saying, Let us go and sacrifice to our God, that there more work be laid upon the men, that they may labor therein, and let them not regard vain words. And the taskmasters of the people went out and their officers, and they spake to the people, saying, Thus saith Pharaoh, I will not give you straw. Go ye, get ye straw where you can find it. Ye not aught of your stock. Let me read that again. Go ye, get your straw where you can find it. Yet not aught of your work shall be diminished. So the people were scattered abroad throughout all the land of Egypt to gather stubble instead of straw. And the taskmasters hasted them, saying, Fulfill your works, your daily tasks. And when there was straw, and the officer...
Let me point that out real quick.
Right.
See, in verse 13, that's another thing in the Willie Lynch letter right here. Right? What was it? Plantation. Right? The status on plantation. Right? You had officers of the children of Israel. The Pharaoh commanded them to be over the children of Israel. The children of Israel. Those are like your supervisors today. It says, and the taskmasters hasted them, saying, Fulfill your work, your daily task. And when there was straw, right? So they put them to work, right? Because they got told by Pharaoh, hey, put them to work. They used to whip them with cords and different things of that nature. You probably had some out there going hard for the so-called Egyptians. For the Egyptians, right? They going hard for them because they love Egypt just like they love America today, right? They might be going hard on you at your job. But they have taken the love away from our people. Let's get 14.
All right. And the officers of the children of Israel, which Pharaoh's taskmasters had set over them, were beaten and demanded, Wherefore have ye fulfilled your task in making brick both yesterday and today, as heretofore? Then the officers of the children of Israel came and cried unto Pharaoh, saying, Wherefore dealest thou thus with thy servants? There is no straw given unto thy servants. And they say to us, Make brick, and behold, thy servants are beaten, but the fault is in thine own people. But he said, Ye are idle. Therefore ye say, Let us go and do sacrifice to the Lord.
Right. So the point I wanted to make here was just, let's get Exodus chapter 13 and verse 21. The point I wanted to make here is that they're in slavery right now. They're in hard bondage, right? We might not be in chattel slavery right now, but we're still in slavery, right? We might not be getting whipped over the back, but it's a spiritual whipping that they're putting on us every day in and day out. But yeah, we are still in slavery, whether you know it or not. So the children of Israel were enslaved in Egypt before the Lord came and got them. Let's get that.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 13, verse 21.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord went before them day by day in the pillar of a cloud to lead them the way, and by night in a pillar of fire to give them light, to go by day and night. He took not away the pillar of the cloud by day, nor the pillar by fire by night from before the people.
Right, so the Lord went before them by day in a pillar of a cloud. Right, let's get give me Psalms chapter 104 and 3. Right, we got to figure out what this cloud is, because the Lord went before them by day in a pillar of a cloud to lead them the way.
Psalm 104 and 3.
Yes, sir. All right, so we're trying to figure out what the cloud is. What is this cloud? Is it a literal cloud? Like what is this cloud that they're talking about in the scriptures? That's why we have to read precept upon precept to find out the meaning of the scripture.
It's Psalm 104 and verse 3. Who layeth the beams of his chamber in the waters? Who maketh the clouds his chariot? Who walketh upon the wing of the wind?
Right, so it says, who maketh the beams of his chambers and the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariots. Right, so anytime you see the word, not anytime, but a lot of times when you see the word cloud in the scriptures, it's talking about the chariots, right? It's talking about the chariots. A chariot is a vehicle, right? And it says, and the Lord went before them by day in the pillar of a cloud. So the Lord was in a vehicle, right? We're going to find out some more scriptures on what that is. Give me Acts chapter 1 and verse 9.
This is the book of Acts, chapter 1, verse 9. And when he had spoken these things, while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight.
So it says a cloud received them out of his sight. But that vehicle received him out of the sight. It's talking about Christ, right? This is the last time they saw Christ. Read verse 10.
And while they looked steadfastly toward heaven as he went up, behold, two men stood by them in white apparel, which also said, "Oh, you want me?"
Hold up. Yeah. That's it. So I'm showing you right here that it says a cloud received Christ. Right, that cloud received Christ. It's talking about those chariots, right? The chariots are what you call today UFOs. We call them IFOs. They call them unidentified flying objects. We call them identified flying objects because the scriptures tell you what they are. Right, these are the chariots that the angels, the chariots that the angels ride in. Right, these are the vehicles of the Most High God. Let me get Ezekiel chapter 1 and verse 4. Right, and this is how we're gonna be saved. Right, a lot of people might think you bugged out if you go and tell them about, hey, UFOs are in the Bible, right? The chariots are in the Bible, the angels ride on them, and that's how we're gonna be saved. A lot of people might think you bugged out, right? But hey, that's where faith come in. That's where faith kick in, right there. Right, you see all the correlations of the scriptures about who we are, right? How we went into slavery, all those things are in the Bible. You see that we got brought over here on the slave ship, that's in the Bible. You see all the World War I, World War II, that's in the Bible. You see what Alexander the Greek took over the world, that's in the Bible, right? All these things are in the Bible. The Persians and the Medes, like all these things can be proven historically, and they all have come to pass. So what make you think this is not true as well? When you see and with UFO sightings, you see a lot of people have UFO sightings, see videos, right? They talked about it. You see it on Egyptian hieroglyphics, right? You see it in the Greek history. You see it in the Asian history when you look at their historical facts and artifacts, right? They have pictures and drawings of those chariots that the angels ride in, right? So let's get Ezekiel chapter 1 and verse 4.
This is Ezekiel chapter 1 and 4. And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud, and a fire enfolding itself, and a brightness was about it. And out of the midst thereof, as the color of amber, out of the midst of the fire.
Right. So it says, and look, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud. Right. So this was a great chariot, a fire enfolding in itself, and the brightness about it was about it. and out of the midst thereof was the color of amber. Right, so in the middle, it was the color of amber. The color of amber is a derivative of brown. Right, let's see. Go to read verse 5.
All right. Verse 5. Also out of the midst thereof came the likeness of 4 living creatures, and this was their appearance. They had the likeness of a man. Verse 6.
So this talking about the angels right here. Right, this is what some of the angels look like. Read.
Verse 6. Everyone had 4 faces, and everyone had 4 wings. Verse 7. And their feet were straight feet, and the sole of their feet was like the sole of a calf foot, and they sparkled like the color of burnished brass. Verse 8.
Right, that's it on that. But those, that's describing the chariots. So I couldn't find the video that I really wanted, so I'm gonna have to borrow it off of one of our brothers' pages. One of the brothers from IURC, a mighty brother in the spirit. So I'm gonna have to borrow the video from his page. Don't play it yet.
Ephraim, but we know Ephraim isn't most, not the ones in here.
Talk for me, brother, real quick.
All right. That's just going into the what we talking about right now, the chariots or the UFOs that's in the scripture that Christ got beamed up on, Enoch got beamed up on, countless different brothers or prophets throughout our history got beamed up on the chariots. And that's how we going to be redeemed in that last day. If we keep the commandments and do what we require to do as the elect, as the saints of the Most High, that's what we going to be beamed upon in that day of wrath.
Hey, Shalakia, can I get a quick precept?
All praise, get it, brother. Shalom, bro.
This is Deuteronomy, shalom. This is Deuteronomy 28 and verse 65. Just going into how we still in captivity, man, but the Lord put a heavy bondage up on us, man. Watch this. This is 65, Deuteronomy 28 and 65. He said, and among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy feet have rest, but the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart, a failing of eyes, and a sorrow of mind. So that's why we feel like, man, we can't never get ahead in life, man, because like the Lord put that spirit, that heavy bondage upon us. You know, going back to when you have pulled back in Exodus, you know, how we back in bondage, man, how we back in captivity, and how we serving this hard bondage, you know. But that's one of the curses that the Lord said He's gonna put up on us, man. He said a failing of eyes. So it's like, man, whatever we try to prosper, whenever we try to prosper here, man, He said it's just gonna go to nothing. You know, this is one of the curses, man.
All praises, brother. All praises. All praises. So the brother was right, man. Like the same things that happen in Egypt are the same things that happen today. We are still in slavery. We're still on the bottom, like the brother said. We are not the CEOs. We don't own anything, right? We're subject to payments, right? We are still in in captivity in our enemy's land. We never went back home. We don't even know where we're from, right? We don't know that we're from Jerusalem, right? According to what's that, Galatians 4 and 6 or 4 and 26, right? We don't know that we're from Jerusalem. We think that we're just African Americans, but Africa and America, that was named after 2 so-called white men, right? But I found the video, so I'm gonna play it real quick. You got me on your screen, bro?
Yeah.
All right, and this coming from our brothers over at IUIC, right? I couldn't find the video, but these mighty brothers, I'm gonna borrow their video real quick. All right. So this is just an example of some of the chariot sightings that they see.
Get me the video by Dr. Norman Berggren. y'all heard me many times bring out a book called The Rainmakers of Saturn. Okay.
Okay, but
This
there
is
are.
going in. Make it nice and loud so people can hear.
Craft.
So this is an interview with Norman Beckman or Berkeley. Come on.
Okay, but there are. If there are craft, there are beings.
Okay, people would have asked me about, I call them vehicles.
Stop. What does he call them?
No,
He calls them vehicles. What was the definition of Markaba? Look it up. Over Salami. Yeah, just answer.
Let me get
To ride
I found it now.
also chariots, right? He calls them vehicles.
I heard that name, so I got it up there. All right, let's play it.
I did not call them optics. That's just who you do for me. I had a Stanford professor say, "God, you know, they have all the qualities of a vehicle. That's all right.
So he's talking about the chariots right now. He says they have all the qualities of a vehicle, right?
So that much we can say about it. For sure. Okay, somebody comes along and says, "Now, where would you manufacture one that's going to have earthly small?" And that's a hard question to answer.
So, are you not positing the idea that those vehicles contain, beings who are maybe like us?
Yeah, I only go along with environment because if you want to know about people kind of thing, there is
Pay attention to how nervous he is, how he's talking about it too.
shit that picked up really good capital. I mean, but anyway, there's one reason that should.
See, he said it shows, you see right here in the subtitles, that it shows black people getting off huge ships.
People with dark skin getting black skin.
See how he had to correct her? He said not dark skin, black. He talking about black people getting off of those ships. Hey, read Ezekiel chapter 1 and verse 7 again.
All right. This is Ezekiel 1 and 7. And their feet were straight feet, and the soles of their feet was like the sole of a calf foot, and they sparkled like the color of burnished brass.
Right? So the angels are black. They are so-called black. Right? Who else have skin like brass, like burnt brass? Christ did. So the angels are black. Christ is black. God is black. Everybody is black in the Bible. Job is black. Right?
Were they tall?
You know, they're real Nubian type blood. Oh, they got the
What?
That's all I really wanted on that one. I'm going to get one more. But as you see right here, he said those beings that got off of those ships look like black men. Right here, and you see in the scriptures in Ezekiel chapter 1 verse 7, it says, and like the color of burnished brass, like burnt brass. right? So they were very dark, very dark. Well, what you would call black people. Let me get one more.
To women who say they have been abducted by aliens from another planet, and you're going to describe to us what they look like.
May I briefly say, I don't know for a fact that they're from another planet. I assume so, but I am dealing with a lot of unknowns. I don't know where they come from. I just can describe what I saw. I don't have the answers.
Well, you know you weren't in Kansas anymore, Toto.
And I wasn't wearing red shoes that I could click together.
Really? Okay, so, and they look like?
They're humanoid as far as the body, very small frames, about 3.5 to 4 feet tall. And I found myself laughing to myself when I saw them because I just saw one being actually. Because the skin was very, very dark olive green, so dark it could be mistaken for black. And I even laughed to myself.
All right! All right!
No.
You see that? Said they have very dark skin and it could be mistaken for black, right? They're not going to say that. They don't want to say that the chariots, the beings in the chariots are angels of the Lord and they look like black men. They don't want to say that because then that would give us power, right? Because they would know that would be their end. All the hatred they have for our skin color, right? In the back of their head, that's the first thing they think about, right? And she said, let me see, I'm gonna rewind it a little bit more. Listen to what she said when Oprah said, "All right."
Myself.
All right. All right.
No.
She said, no. Nigga, sit your ass down. They're not black. Those angels are not black. Don't worry about that. They are dark, but they're not black people. Don't worry about that. Because they could be in it. They have to be anything but black, right? Anything that has anything to do with something great can be anything but black. They will go and tell you the damn green space Martians came down here and created some of these things, some of these sculptures and different artifacts and different buildings, right? They like even the pyramids. Like we built some of the pyramids. We didn't build all of them, but we built like some of the greatest ones, right? But let's see. Let's get right. She said. So this lady right here, when Oprah said they might be black people. Huh? Hold on, give me 1 second. All right, I'm back. But so it says, just like this lady said, no. In Obadiah chapter 1, in Obadiah verse 3, it says, "The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwelleth in the clefts of the rocks, whose habitation is high, who saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground?" So that's what the so-called white man thinks in their heart, that nobody can bring them down to the ground, right? That's the pride of their heart. When she said, no. Let's get that one more time.
And I even laughed to myself.
All right. All right.
No. I laughed to myself.
We're in control in our space. All right.
I laughed to myself.
I believe you, girl. You know.
See, that's how excited we should be when we hear in the scriptures that the angels are black people. Black men. That's how excited we should be. Right? That's how excited Oprah would be if she actually knew the truth. You see how happy she was? She was like, you ain't got to tell me nothing else. You just said they black. She already knew what that was. All right, let's get Zechariah chapter 5 and 1. I got a couple more and then we'll be done. Matter of fact, we already get that. Let's get it on. All right, yeah, let's get it real quick. Get it real quick. And then somebody give me Ezekiel 1 and 16.
Well, Zechariah 5 and what now?
Zechariah 5 and 1.
Okay. Zechariah 5 and verse 1. Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll.
Right. So it says a flying roll. Read.
Verse 2. And he said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits.
Right. So the key point right here says, I turned up and looked, and behold, a flying roll. Right. The prophets, right, like I said earlier, they didn't have the words missiles. They didn't have the words ballistic missiles. They didn't have the word spaceship. Right. They didn't have those type of words, plane or anything like that. So they said it looks like a flying roll. That's the best way he could describe it. Right. Because when you look at a chariot, they look like a flying roll. That's what he thought it was. Let's get Ezekiel chapter 1 and verse 16.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 1, verse 16. The appearance of the wheels and their work was like unto the color of a beryl. And they four had one likeness, and their appearance and their work was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel.
Right. So it says the appearance and their work, right? It's talking about how they look, whereas were a wheel in the middle of a wheel. So you got to think about that. What do the so-called UFOs look like? They look like a wheel, and then in the middle you have like a small circle. That's what it's talking about. They look like, right? Those are the chariots of the Most High God that the angels ride in, and it says it looks like a wheel within a wheel. All right, let's get Luke chapter 21 and verse 25. I'm trying to speed through this so we can go ahead and get out of here, because it looks like I done went over the time a little bit.
21, 25.
21 and verse 25. Yes, sir.
All right. Luke 21 and 25. And he said unto them, Render therefore unto Caesar the thing which be Caesar's, and to God the thing which be God's.
Luke chapter 21 and verse 25.
Oh, my bad, man. I read 20 and 25.
Oh, you good, brother?
My bad.
You good?
21 and 25. Luke 21 and 25. And there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations, which with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring.
Okay. Read.
Verse 28. Men's hearts failing them for fear, and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the power of the heavens shall be shaken.
So men's hearts are gonna be failing, right? They're gonna be, a lot of people are gonna be scared when the Lord, when the Most High and Christ crack that sky open, right? They're gonna be scared. Read.
Verse 27. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory.
Right, so he's gonna be coming in a cloud. So Christ is gonna be coming in a cloud. That's that chariot, right? Christ is gonna be coming in a chariot, right? Let's see, in great glory. And then read verse 28.
Verse 28. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your head, for your redemption draweth nigh.
Right, so when those times come, it says, look up and lift up your head, because your redemption draweth nigh. Because that's what we're going to be redeemed in, right, in those chariots. Right, that's how the Lord is going to come back and save us in that day. Right, that's why you shouldn't be scared of nuclear missiles. You shouldn't be scared of all the things that are going to be happening on this earth, because the Lord is going to come back and repay and save his people. Give me Habakkuk chapter 3 and verse 16 real quick, and then we're going to close it out with Psalms chapter 37. All right, so we're going to get Habakkuk chapter 3 and verse 16. Because with Christ coming back in a chariot, right, which would be a so-called UFO, right, and he's going to come back with a number of chariots you can't even number, right?
This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 3, verse 16. When I heard, my belly trembled, my lips quivered at the voice. Rottenness entered into my bones, and I trembled in myself, that I might rest in the day of trouble. When he cometh up unto the people, he will invade them with his troops.
Right, so what do they call so-called UFOs coming to Earth? They call it an alien invasion, right? That's what it's going to look like. It's going to look like an alien invasion when the Most High come back. That's what people are going to think it is. But they're not listening to the people that's trying to tell them, right? The ministers of the Lord that's trying to tell them, hey, in that day you need to repent. Well, you need to repent now. So in that day you won't be destroyed by the Most High and Christ. Right? Because he going to come invade them with his troops. His troops are the angels, right? And they come in with millions of chariots, thousands and thousands of chariots, right? Chariots that you can't even number. Let's get Psalm chapter 37, verse 1. And we're going to close it out with this. We're going to read that whole chapter. Eric, you get 1 through 15. Baruch, you get chapter 16, verse through 30. And Ananias, you get verse 31 through 40.
All right. Fret not thyself because of evildoers, neither be thou envious against the workers of iniquity. Verse 2. For they shall soon be cut down like the grass, wither as green herb. Trust in the Lord and do good, so shalt thou dwell in the land, and verily thou shalt be fed. Delight thyself also in the Lord, and he shall give thee the desires of thine heart. Commit thine way unto the Lord, trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass. And he shall bring forth thy righteousness as the light, and thy judgment as the noonday. Rest in the Lord, and wait patiently for him. Fret not thyself because of him who prospereth in his way, because of the man who bringeth wicked devices to pass.
Right. Let's talk about your so-called white man with all the wicked devices he have out for the children of Israel. Right. For the coronavirus shots that they have out. You know, for all these things they have out to try to destroy the so-called Israelite. I mean, with the Israelites, right? You read.
Cease from anger and forsake wrath. Fret not thyself in any wise to do evil. For evildoers shall be cut off, but those that wait upon the Lord, they shall inherit the earth. For yet a little while, and the wicked shall not be. Yea, thou shalt diligently consider his place, and it shall be not. And it shall not be. Verse 11. But the meek shall inherit the earth, and shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace.
Right. Hey, one thing about the meek, right? You see the word meek, it means obedience. Let's prove that real quick. Let me get Numbers chapter 12. This one in my notes, but I'm gonna get that anyway. And then somebody give me Numbers chapter 23. Numbers chapter 12 and verse 3. Right. I'm gonna just prove that the word meek means obedience according to the scriptures.
Numbers chapter 12 and verse 3. Now the man Moses was very meek above all the men which were upon the face of the earth.
Right, so Moses was the meekest man upon the earth. Right, let's get Numbers chapter 25 and verse 4. Right, we're going to understand what the word meek means. It's not what the Christian church say it is, right? Being soft and disobeying the commandments and just like a feel-good doctrine, thinking they can just be nice to people and they're going to be like a meek person on the earth and the Lord going to come back and save them. That ain't how the Lord said it's gonna happen. Right? We're gonna find out what meek is. Give me 25 and 4.
This is the book of Numbers, chapter 25, verse 4. And the Lord said unto Moses, take all the heads of the people and hang them up before the Lord against the sun, that the fierce anger of the Lord may be turned away from Israel. And Moses said unto the judges of Israel, slay ye every one his men that were joined unto Baal-peor.
Right, so Moses was the meekest man on the earth. Right, it's showing you right here that Moses was obedient to the Most High God because God told him to do that. And guess what he told his people to do? He said, and Moses said unto the judges of Israel, slay ye every one of his men that were joined to Baal-peor. Right? Let's see. All right, we'll get off that. Let's go back to 37, Psalm 37. Okay, right, so that's what the word meek is obedience. How do you be obedient? You have to keep the commandments. All right, it ain't no way around keeping the commandments.
Verse 12. The wicked plotted against the just, and gnasheth upon him with his teeth. 13. The Lord shall laugh at him, for he seeth that his day is. Verse 14. The wicked have drawn out the sword, and have bent their bow to cast down the poor and needy, and to slay such as be of upright conversation. Verse 15. The poor shall enter into their own hearts, and their vows shall be broken.
All right, Baruch, get that. Verse 16.
Well, verse 16, okay. It says, a little that a righteous man have is better than riches of many wicked. For the arms of the wicked shall be broken, but the Lord upholdeth the righteous. The Lord knoweth the days of the upright, and the inheritance shall be forever, and their inheritance shall be forever. And they shall not be ashamed in the evil time, and in the days of famine they shall be satisfied. But the wicked shall perish, and the enemies of the Lord shall be as the fat of lambs. They shall consume into smoke, shall they consume away. The wicked borrow and pay it not again, but the righteous show mercy and give it. For such as be blessed of him shall inherit the earth. And they that be cursed of him shall be cut off. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delighted in his ways. Though he fall, he shall not be utterly cast down. For the Lord upholdeth him with his hands. And he hath been young, and now am old. Yet I have not seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. He is ever mercy, and leadeth, and his seed is blessed. Depart from evil, and do good, and dwell forevermore. The Lord loveth judgment. For the Lord loveth judgment, and forsaketh not his saints. They are preserved forever, but the seed of the wicked shall be cut off. The righteous shall inherit the land, and dwell therein forever. The mouth of the righteous speak wisdom, and his tongue talketh of judgment. The law of his God is in his heart.
Hey, that's Ananias right there. I appreciate that, brother. Ananias 31 through 40.
All right. The law of his God is in his heart. None of his steps shall slide. The wicked watches the righteous and seeketh to slay him. The Lord will not leave him in his hand, nor condemn him when he is judged. Wait on the Lord and keep his way, and he shall exalt thee to inherit the land. When the wicked are cut off, thou shalt see it. I have seen the wicked in great power, and spreading himself like a green bay tree. Yet he passed away, and lo, he was not. Yea, I saw him, but he could not be found. Mark the perfect man, and behold the upright, for the end of that man is peace. But the transgressors shall be destroyed together. The end of the wicked shall be cut off. But the
And we know what transgression is. That's disobeying the laws of God. That's sin according to the Bible. Read.
But the salvation of the righteous is of the Lord. He is their strength in the time of trouble. And the Lord shall help them and deliver them. He shall deliver them from the wicked and save them because they trust in him.
Read 40 again.
And the Lord shall help them and deliver them. He shall deliver them from the wicked and save them because they trust in him.
Right. So, like I said earlier, like our guns, our food pantry that we have, our friends, they're not going to be able to save us in that day. Only the Most High God, right? Only the Most High God is going to be able to save us, right? I'm not saying you can't defend yourself or anything like that, but all I'm saying is you have to depend on the Lord and have faith in him and not be setting up a fort at your house thinking that you're going to be able to protect yourself, right? Because that's not going to be able to happen. You got to trust in the Lord and keep his commandments. And with that, I say shalom.